Who do I think will be the next champion in every single UFC weight division? Starting off with heavyweight, I believe the next champion will be Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane's just lost to Francis Ngannou and John Jones, and John Jones is head to fight Stipe Miocic at UFC 295 as the main event in November. And until then, Cyril Gane's going to be fighting Sergey Spivak. I think what they're going to do is they're going to do Sergey Spivak versus Cyril Gane. If Cyril Gane wins, he's going to get his third title shot. If he loses, they're going to give it to Spivak. I believe Cyril Gane will beat Sergey Spivak, and then after that, I believe he will get the title shot against Pavlovich for the vacant belt. Did I put two? Yeah. And I think Cyril Gane beats Pavlovich. I really do. I think he's a better striker. Pavlovich has good accuracy in boxing, but athleticism and the overall striking of Cyril Gane, in my opinion, is better. I think he beats him on the feet. The grappling department is both similar. I don't think either of them are exactly good at grappling. I think Pavlovich has got decent takedown defense. Cyril Gane's probably worked on his wrestling a lot, so I'd probably have to give the wrestling just because of the experience of grapplers to Cyril Gane. But yeah, I think he's better on the feet, unless he gets caught like he did, because he almost got rocked by Taito Ivaza. If Sergey Pavlovich does that, it's dangerous. But yeah, I think they're going to do heavyweight Cyril Gane versus Sergey Pavlovich for the vacant heavyweight belt after Jones and Stipe retire. And I think Cyril Gane beats Pavlovich to get out to keep the belt. I don't think he'll keep the belt for long. I think he'll get like maybe one defence and then he'll lose it to Aspinall. But I do think Cyril Gane will be the next heavyweight champion. I don't think Stipe beats Jones, and then I think Jones retires, and then they'll do Pavlovich versus Gane, or maybe Spivak beats Gane, but I just don't think it's a possibility. I think Gane's going to win his next two fights. Then we're going to go with light heavyweight. I'm going with Yuri Prohaska. I'm going with Yuri. Well, this fight between Yuri and Jamal Hill is nearly been confirmed. Yuri did get injured. He was supposed to fight Glover at the beginning of this year, but he got injured, so they gave it to Hill, and Hill won the belt. And there's not really been a light heavyweight title fight since January of this year. I assume they're looking for a fight in either September to October, or maybe even November. But I think Yuri Prohaska beats Jamal Hill. I think he's got the experience at the top level. I think his title run was more impressive. He knocked out Dominic Reyes. He beat Glover Teixeira. In one of the best fights in UFC history, man. That was such a good fight. And I think he beats Jamal Hill. He's been out for a while. He's hungry to get back in there. Jamal Hill's kind of had a weird career. He beats Johnny Walker, knocks him out, then goes and beats Glover. Also lost to Paul Craig, though, which is the problem. He's lost to Paul Craig. I think Yuri Prohaska beats him. I think it's a very close fight. People say Prohaska's going to steamroll him. I don't think so. Prohaska's good. He's not going to steamroll him, though, but I see Prohaska winning by a decision. I think it's going to be it's going to be a bloodbath, but I can see Yuri Prohaska winning this belt on a close decision and being the next light heavyweight champion. Middleweight, I don't think much people are going to agree with me on this one. Maybe some are, and I'm not just saying this because he won last night, but I'm going with Dricus du Plessis. I think Dricus du Plessis will be the next middleweight champion. I think he beats Israel Adesanya. I think he finishes Adesanya. They're obviously going to do this fight next. There's been shit ton of hype about it. It's definitely going to happen next. I don't know when. Maybe on the Sydney card. Maybe on the Sydney card in September. But I think it'll definitely happen this year, I think. But I think Dricus beats Adesanya. He's got that powerful... He does overswing quite a lot, but he's got that powerful kind of steamrolling pressure kind of fight style. It worked for Pereira in the first fight. It's worked in the past. Doesn't work if you just go in all guns blazing like Robert Whittaker in the first fight. I feel like Adesanya works best when he's against that kind of like just stood still technical opponents like Marv Vettori or Jared Cannonier. That's where Adesanya does best, and that is not what Dricus du Plessis is. I think he will be the best grappler Adesanya has faced. Adesanya got taken down by Pereira, who's been doing MMA for like 3 years, if that. Dricus du Plessis is a wrestler. He managed to trip Whittaker like it was nothing. I think he dominates Adesanya and takes him down and beats him on the floor. I can definitely see that happening. He takes him down, beats him on the floor, round ends, and finishes him. I think he'll win by a submission or ground and pound. I really do. I can really see Dricus du Plessis beating Adesanya. I could also see Adesanya catching him if he overswings, because Adesanya is such a good striker. But I think Dricus du Plessis is more well-rounded, and honestly, I think he could beat Adesanya and become the middleweight champion. I mean, he's way bigger as well. Adesanya's like long. Dricus is like muscular, so I see Dricus winning this fight. Then we have welterweight. What's happening here? Belal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards will eventually happen. I think Belal Muhammad's going to be the guy to beat Leon Edwards. Maybe this is the most terrible take. I don't think anyone thinks Belal's going to beat Edwards, but I do. I think Leon Edwards will fight Colby Covington. I think he'll beat Colby Covington by decision. And then I think Belal will fight for the belt because he's just beaten Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns. He'll fight Leon Edwards for the belt after belt on Edwards' first defense, probably around mid-2024 towards late 2024. Probably mid-2024. And then I think he beats Edwards by decision. I think they've fought once before. Edwards was winning that fight, but I think Belal Muhammad's striking has improved so much. He was beating Gilbert Burns on the feet, and he TKO'd Sean Brady. His striking's improved so much. I think he'll be a bigger test on the feet than Colby Covington was. Maybe even Kamaru Usman. I think he'll be a huge test. And then in the grappling department, I know Leon Edwards has just been facing grapplers. He's faced Usman twice. Then he's gone and faced Then he's going to face Colby. And now he's facing Belal. But I think Belal could be the guy to do it. He's got such good grappling. It's boring grappling because he trains with like Khabib and that lot. But grappling's grappling. I think he beats Leon Edwards by decision. A really boring decision, I think this will be. I think he'll just hold him down for a lot of the fight. Manage to not take much damage on the feet. And I think Belal Muhammad will get a really boring win and beat Leon Edwards for the welterweight belt. I can definitely see this happening. I really can. I don't want it to happen. I want Leon Edwards' shin to go across his jaw and shatter it, but I can see Belal Muhammad winning this fight. I really can. Then we go on to lightweight. I think the next lightweight champion will... I don't know, I've been thinking. I think the next lightweight champion will be Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski's going to move up to lightweight pretty soon. It don't really matter for me if Islam versus Oliveira 2 happens, because I think Islam wins again. But I think Volkanovski beats Islam in the next fight. I'm seeing more progression from Volkanovski than I am from Islam. Islam's got decent striking and fantastic wrestling. Against Yair Rodriguez, Volkanovski looked more improved. He's a way better striker than Islam. He's fought him before, so he's got that experience. He's so well-rounded. He's got such good wrestling. I think he pulls off a decision win. People saying he already beat Islam, he should be the lightweight champion. I don't think he beat Islam. I think the first fight between them, Islam won by a split decision, or the best Volkanovski could have got was a draw. But I think if they rematch, I think Volkanovski's going to win. And I think after Oliveira, he's next in line for the belt, and I think he's going to win. Straightforward. I think he's going to beat Islam for the lightweight belt. I can definitely see it happening, 100%. And then what's going to happen is he's going to give up the featherweight belt, and when he gives up the featherweight belt, the new featherweight champion will be Max Holloway. Max Holloway, in my opinion, beats every single featherweight contender. The only one I can see him having a problem with is Ilia Topuria, but we need to see Topuria against another contender. Either he fights Volk after Volk beats Islam, if Volk comes down to either he fights Volk next before Volk fights Islam, or he fights Arnold Allen or something. But I can see Max Holloway. He's the best featherweight in the world besides Volkanovski. He's clear. He's beaten Arnold Allen, beating Yair Rodriguez, beating Aldo, beating Calvin Kattar. Probably would beat Ilia Topuria as well, in my opinion, and Josh Emmett. I think after Volk beats Islam at lightweight, I think he's going to drop the featherweight belt and start trying to defend his belt against lightweights. And I think the featherweight belt's going to be vacant, and they'll probably do someone like Ilia Topuria versus Holloway, or I don't know, Yair Rodriguez versus Holloway, and I think Holloway wins. And Holloway will be the featherweight champion. Obviously, as long as Volk is at featherweight, Holloway won't be champion, so it really just depends on if Volk decides to stay at featherweight or move up to lightweight. But I think Volk will move up to lightweight after he beats Islam, because then he can become the GOAT. And I think Max Holloway, yeah, he beats all the featherweight contenders. But like I said, besides Volkanovski, he's the best featherweight in the world. So yeah, I see Max Holloway being the next featherweight champion. Then we've got bantamweight. Bantamweight, I'm going to go with Merab. I think Aljo beats everyone at bantamweight. The only person I see him having a slight problem with is Umar Nurmagomedov. I see him beating. He's already beaten Sandhagen. He's already beaten Cejudo. He's already beaten TJ Dillashaw. He's already beaten Peter Yan. He'd beat Marlon Vera. He's already beaten Sandhagen. He'd beat. He's going to beat Sean O'Malley. Merab's beaten Yan. He's beaten Aldo. I think Merab's, like I said, I think he's the best bantamweight. I think he could potentially beat Aldo. I think when eventually Merab's not just going to stay as the number one contender. He's going to fight for the belt eventually, and he's going to win. He's the best bantamweight in the world, in my opinion. Either Aldo's going to go to featherweight, lose, and then Merab's already going to. I don't know. I think Aldo's going to go to do a featherweight and probably fight Holloway for the featherweight belt. I think he could win that fight as well. I don't know. And then I think Merab's going to steal the featherweight belt. I think it's going to become vacant and Merab's going to win. Or Merab's going to have no choice. But if Merab doesn't become champion, that's just because he's wasting his legacy and refusing to become champion. He's waiting in line. I don't see anybody taking the belt off Aljo besides Merab, so I've got to go with Merab for the next bantamweight champion. It just makes sense. For me, no one else makes sense besides Merab. Who else is going to take it off him? It's not going to be O'Malley. It's not going to be Sandhagen. It's not going to be Umar, although he's probably the best bet. But yeah, Merab. Flyweight, this one was quite tricky, but I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno. I think what they're going to do, what I think should happen is they should do Pantoja, instead of just instantly doing the quadrilogy. I think what we should do is we should do Pantoja, because Pantoja just won the belt off Moreno. They should do Pantoja versus Amir Albazi, who just beat Kai Kara-France. I think Pantoja wins, don't matter really who wins. And then they should do Kai Kara-France versus Brandon Royval. And then Brandon Royval will probably get beaten by Moreno. And then eventually we'll do that, whether it's instant or after a couple of fights. I can definitely see the quadrilogy between Moreno and Pantoja winning. And I think Moreno's got a chance. He's got the best chance out of every flyweight at getting the flyweight belt back, compared to the other contenders. Brandon Royval doesn't beat Pantoja. Kai Kara-France doesn't beat him. Amir Albazi doesn't beat him. I can 100% see Moreno being the guy to do it. They had a very, very close fight last night. I personally scored it to Pantoja, so I think he's the winner. But yeah, I can see Moreno having the best chance of getting the flyweight belt back out of all the other flyweights. So I'm going to go with Moreno for the next flyweight champion. I think the problem with Moreno is he can't really keep a belt. He'll win a belt and then he'll lose it, and then he'll win it back and then he'll lose it. He's kind of like, he can't really just keep it. He's always got to lose it on his first defence, but I think he will win it back. I think he'll beat it off Pantoja, or at least he has the best chance out of all the other flyweights. But yeah, that's me. That's my opinion on who I think the next champion will be in every weight division. Please tell me if you agree with any of them or you have any other takes. Probably going to disagree with the Bilal Muhammad take, but I think so. Well, yeah.